Hello from Dhaka, this is Moftushi Jubaida Rahman and you are watching Basis News. At first, the headlines. China plans major investment in jute-based manufacturing in Bangladesh, says China Exim Bank VP. BNP holds Doa Mahfil at Nayapaltan office for Begum Khaleda Zia. Expatriate postal ballot registration reaches 70,660. Master plan to propose 500 to 900 tourists in St. Martin Island per day. President Donald Trump says to suspend third world migration after troop killed. Now the details. China plans major investments in jute-based manufacturing in Bangladesh, says China Exim Bank VP. Chinese investors have expressed strong interest in Bangladesh's green technology, jute, textiles, and pharmaceuticals. The announcement came on Thursday during a meeting between Chief Advisor Professor Dr. Mohammad Yunus and Yang Dongning, Vice President of the Export-Import Bank of China at the State Guest House, Jamuna. Yang Dongning said Chinese investors are now shifting from large infrastructure projects to direct manufacturing sectors. She had shown interest in rooftop solar panels and in large-scale uses of jute for energy, biofertilizers, and plastic alternatives. She also said that Chinese enterprises and the Export-Import Bank of China are interested in financing these manufacturing ventures. Dr. Ma Jun, president of the state-run Institute of Finance and Sustainability, said the traditional jute industry of Bangladesh is a major focus. He added that Chinese firms are ready to use up to 1 million tons of jute to produce green energy, fertilizers, and plastic substitutes. Chief Advisor Professor Dr. Mohammad Yunus welcomed the interest. He said Chinese investment can support Bangladesh's goal of becoming a manufacturing hub, producing goods for export, including to China. He identified pharmaceuticals and healthcare as promising sectors. He encouraged China to relocate manufacturing plants to Bangladesh and suggested that closed state-run jute mills could be used for new joint ventures. The chief advisor invited Chinese firms to relocate factories to southeastern Bangladesh, which has major seaports and access to Southeast Asian markets. He also urged Chinese infrastructure companies to build railway links connecting Bangladesh with southern China to support exports and regional connectivity. BNP holds Doa Mahfil at Nayapaltan office for Begum Khaleda Zia. A special Doa Mahfil was held today at the BNP Central Office in Nayapaltan, Dhaka for the speedy recovery of party chairperson and former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia, who is currently admitted at Evercare Hospital. The prayers were organized after Jummah prayers with leaders and activists from various levels of the party participating. Following the Doa Mahfil, BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir told journalists that Begum Khaleda Zia has struggled for the people and endured imprisonment to establish democracy. He said her physical condition is extremely critical and requested prayers for the public for her recovery, hoping she will soon return to continue her work for the country. Earlier in the morning, at a program, Mirza Fakhrul said the entire nation is eagerly awaiting the Jatiyo সংসদ elections scheduled for the first half of February next year, hoping it will restore democratic governance. Fakhrul criticized a political culture where differing opinions are treated as hostility and urged everyone to refrain from spreading misinformation. Expatriate postal ballot registration reaches 70,660. A total of 70,660 expatriate Bangladeshis have registered for the country's first ever postal voting system. This will allow them to vote in the upcoming 13th Jatiyo সংসদ election and the referendum. The updated figures were available on the Election Commission website at 11:30 am today, Friday. Of the registered voters, 59,510 are men and 11,150 are women. Country-wise numbers show 14,236 registrations in the United States, followed by 9,075 in South Korea, 7,087 in Canada, 6,452 in Japan, 6,027 in Australia, and 4,480 in South Africa. Registration in Saudi Arabia and 6 other countries had been temporarily suspended because many users entered incorrect or incomplete address information in the postal code BD app. The Election Commission expected the service to resume today, Friday. Director of Public Relations and the Information Officer at the Election Commission Secretariat, Mohammad Ruhul Amin Mollik, said efforts were underway to restart registration in those countries by the end of the day. On Thursday, Election Commission Secretariat Senior Secretary Akhtar Ahmed and team leader of the Overseas Citizens Voting and SDI Project Brigadier General retired Salim Ahmed Khan said expatriate voters in 7 countries were unable to input their addresses correctly. They explained that ballot papers must be sent to accurate, complete English addresses with postal codes. They said the system was paused to prevent errors and that expatriates would be advised through embassies and other channels to provide correct details. They added that the aim was to reopen the app on Friday. The Election Commission has now opened app-based registration for expatriate voters in all countries. A press release issued on Wednesday night said the global registration window will remain open from 12:01 a.m. on 27th November to 11:59 p.m. on 18th December. Master plan to propose 500 to 900 tourists in St. Martin Island per day. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has proposed a draft master plan for St. Martin's Island to regulate tourism and protect the island's fragile ecosystem. The draft recommendations limiting daily visitors to between 500 and 900 within designated areas to prevent environmental degradation. The plan also suggests restricting tourism activities to 4.1 kilometers of beach in the general use zone to maintain conservation priorities. Currently, daily visitors numbers rise to between 3,000 and 7,000 during peak seasons from September to April, which exceeds the island's 590-hectare capacity. The draft identifies 9 key sectors for sustainable development. These include sustainable tourism management, conservation of fish and coral resources, protection of turtles and nesting sites, terrestrial flora and fauna preservation, waste management, groundwater management, internal road and green infrastructure development, and livelihood improvement initiatives. Implementation is planned in short term, that is 1 to 3 years, medium term 1 to 5 years, and long term from 1 to 10 years phases, with an estimated total investment of 547.9 million taka, including both public and private sector participation. The draft has been uploaded on the ministry's website, that is www.moefcc.government.bd, for public access. The ministry has requested all ministries, departments, agencies, stakeholders, and citizens to submit their written feedback by 20th December to the email env2@moefcc.government.bd. President Donald Trump says to suspend Third World migration after troop killed. US President Donald Trump on Thursday said he would suspend migration from what he called Third World countries following a shooting in Washington, D.C., in which an Afghan national allegedly killed a National Guard soldier and critically wounded another. Trump said the United States would permanently pause migration and review millions of admissions made under former President Joe Biden. His comments came after he confirmed the death of 20-year-old Guard member Sarah Beckstorm, shot on Wednesday. The second soldier, Andrew Wolf, 24, remained in critical condition. The FBI opened an international terror investigation. The suspect, Rahmanullah Lakanwal, 29, reportedly worked with a CIA-supported unit in Afghanistan and had driven from Washington state before carrying out the attack. He faces assault charges that could become murder. Trump officials blamed lax asylum policies, but Afghan Evaks said Lakhanwal was granted asylum in April 2025 under the current administration. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth deployed 500 additional troops to Washington, raising the total to 2,500. That's all for now. For more information, visit BSS. Thanks for watching.